Hello, hello, hello. Hello, friends. Hello. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. At least it's good afternoon my time. So today, I'd like to make a final appeal to Nigerians, at least the peace-loving Nigerians. Those that are not peace-loving, they won't listen anyway. So today, I'm going to be making a final appeal on these cow issues. So, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Effie. Good afternoon, Lucky, EA, Aushman. So nice to have you all around here today. So, I like to get started very quickly because I want to be fast today. I have a lot of things to say, so I hope you people bear with me. I'm going to be, really hitting it hard today, and because we are living in a very dicey situation. Today in Nigeria, there is this present threat, this cattle herdsmen threat that is overshadowing Nigeria today. A lot of people think that the president is incompetent. That is why the problem is going on today. And there might be some truth to that, but personally I feel that the president knows what he's doing, and I've written about it. It is not a matter of being incompetent, it's a matter of having an agenda, a very clear agenda, which has to be achieved in Nigeria. And that is the colonization of Nigeria by one tribe of the country. And I don't care who that tribe is. It is a minority rule that is being imposed on the rest of Nigeria through one tribe. In this case, the tribe is called Fulani. And I know that a lot of people will hesitate and are shy away from using the word Fulani. The truth of the matter is there is no other tribe that is doing this. It is not the Hausas, it's not the Igbos, it's not the Shakiri, it's not the Yoruba, it's not the Edos. It is the Fulani tribe that is doing this recolonization of Nigeria. And to be very clear, it is not a demonization of the Fulani people. It is not to ostracize the Fulani people. There are a lot of good Fulani people in Nigeria, and we are not talking about all Fulani people. There are some very disgruntled elements from the Fulani tribe, of which the president is the leader, who is leading this campaign to colonize Nigeria by using these few elements of the citizens of Nigeria to cause mayhem in the country to ensure that their original purpose, which is to set up colonies all over Nigeria that will spread to over, through all aspects of Nigeria, is achieved. A lot of people tell me that this cannot happen. A lot of people say there are some entities who tells me that it is not possible for a small tribe of 4 million people to rule an entire nation of 180 million people. Let me tell you this. The British people was a small tribe when they came to rule the entire Africa that later becomes 1.3 billion people. Today in Africa, there are over 1.3 billion people resident living in Africa. The British are still not up to 100 million people. So therefore, a small group of people can overthrow and rule a much larger group of people. Number two, India is more than 1.3 billion people. The population of England is not close to a tenth of the population of India. And yet, they were able to overthrow and rule India for many years. So that argument is totally baseless. A small group of people who are very determined, who are rugged, who are ready to kill and maim and cause mayhem is able to subdue an entire nation of 180 million people and even more. So let there not be a mistake on the level of capability these people have and are experiencing. There are a lot of people whom I'm going to call idiots right now because I'm really pissed off with their mentality, who believe that when they see a president of a country who remove all head of services from all the security institutions, replace them with incompetent people from his own tribe, and that tribe happens to be all from Fulanese, they wonder, why is this man doing that? And the only question they can come up with is that this man is incompetent. And I like to bring forth today the argument that this man is not incompetent. This man has no element of incompetency in him. Rather, the man is very shrewd and competent. He knows exactly what he's doing. His goal, his aim is to ensure that all the major institutions in Nigeria that ensure the functioning of the Nigerian system and government is completely taken over by Fulani people. It is not if we say it, if any other person say it, somebody like me saying it, it's not because we are tribalistic. It has nothing to do with tribalism or bigotry. It has nothing to do with the fact that other tribes should get leaders, people from their place ruling the country. That's not what it is. Really, quite frankly, I don't care if all the people who have the major positions in Nigeria are from one tribe. If everybody in Nigeria today who are responsible for the judiciaries, for the securities, for the police, for the army, from all the major institutions in Nigeria happens to be from Unewi, quite frankly, I don't care. If the intention is good, if the intention is that these people, men and women from one tribe in Nigeria, are the best, the most brilliant, and the most dedicated people who are willing to take the nation to the next level, therefore, nobody cares. However, what is going on is very far from that scenario. What is going on is bringing the most ridiculous, idiotic, and mediocres into the system just because they are from one tribe to replace every other person, to ensure that only those people are able to stay in the control of command in the country. What does that mean? That means basically that if tomorrow, and it's not if, it is not if, it is when tomorrow they want to do something, they want to commit atrocity to the people of Nigeria, they don't even have to speak English to do it. They just have to speak their language, and because the entire command structure in Nigeria is answering the same language, is speaking the same language. And these people know and understand the hierarchy, they understand the potential, they understand what they are put there to do. So for people in Nigeria today to still be sleeping in slumber and wait for only people like me to come up and speak, I find that really despicable and a complete ignorance of what is going on. And because of that, I'm making this final appeal. Final appeal in the sense that I will not come on air again to talk about the cattle herdsmen. I've made several videos. I've talked about it. I have tried to educate Nigerians and the nations about the danger of the cattle herdsmen. Now, people don't want to listen. People think it's a joke. Well, they will feel it one day. When people don't listen, people will have to feel it. And I can tell you, this is not going to end well in Nigeria. I can feel it, I can smell it, and every fiber of my soul tells me this is not going to end well, because those people who are in power right now, this is what they want. This is what they want to do. And those who are not in power, those who are supporters from different states who are being affected right now, they are not interested in putting an end to this for two major reasons. One, they want to be in support of those who are in power to get favor. Number two, they have skeletons in the closet that they don't want to be exposed if they oppose those people in power. So like I said in my previous conversation with you, these people have been held hostage, and as such, they cannot do anything. That actually leaves just you and me citizens, ordinary citizens of Nigeria, we have to come up. Now, the problem we have here is that a lot of citizens of Nigeria, over 95% of the citizens of Nigeria are sleeping. They are sleeping in acute, slumber, in doldrum. And my video today is to wake them up. I will try my best to make my final argument that they have to wake up. If they don't wake up, well, the consequence will be on their head. Now, I like to take people back to history. Black people seems to be not to be able to remember history. Black people, because they don't read, they have inability to remember history. So let me take you back to history. Why I want to take you back to history is this. The Fulani people, they wanted to set up cattle ranches all over the country. But the government has to give them places to set up their cattle ranches all over the country. So, because some people said, no, we don't do that, some citizens of other parts of the country said, we don't do that. So they started a mayhem to kill and maim people. Under the pretense that, look, if you have given us a place to have our own grazing area, then we will not be everywhere killing and maiming people. But the problem, the fact is, what is going on has nothing to do with cattle rearing. What is going on right now has nothing to do with cattle rearing. This is just a pretense to accomplish the greater purpose, which is to set up colonies all over the country. Now, there are a lot of reasons why this has nothing to do with cattle rearing. Number one, the northern states of the Federation has bigger land. And I repeat, the northern states have bigger land. The northern states are always proud of their land. They say, oh, we have the biggest lands in Nigeria. When there was sharing of the oil allocation, the northern countries, the northern states said it should be shared according to the size of the states. So therefore, if you have a state in the north with 30 local government, the state will get more money because each local government is allocated a certain amount of money. So therefore, you have more states in the north, more local government in the north. By default, the norths are entitled to a lot of money that is coming up from the oil money. Well, I am not here to argue that, and I don't give a damn, to be frank with you. However, now, when there is an issue with the cattle herdsmen problem, these same people, this is demanding that the southern states should now bring out the land for them to have the cattle, ranches. It doesn't make any sense because you said you have more land in the first place, and now somebody else have to bring out the land to do this, to create ranches. There is something fishy there. So there was this. Some state, like Edo State, with disgruntled officers, they came out with a grazing bill. The idea was to allocate areas as large as 15,000 hectares to 20,000 hectares, just allocate it to some, business people from the north to, for the so-called grazing reserve. But don't forget that these same people, they are the ones that get the oil allocation from the south. Somebody will just wake up from the north and will go to the south, they will go to Niger Delta, and he will get an allocation on paper of an oil well. This person doesn't know how to get oil from the ground. This person have never been to Niger Delta, but this person has the paper has a legal right to all the oil coming out from that oil well. So what happened that this person is just getting rich on paper, and the people in Niger Delta are getting poorer and poorer and poorer every day. They don't even have single clean bottle of water to drink. Now, how is that fair? So now, after all this has been taken over from the Niger Delta, now it is now time to start taking the land from the other part of the country, and under the pretense of grazing reserve. Now, The way things work in Nigeria, this grazing reserve, let's assume that it's going to take place. You and I know that this grazing reserve will be allocated to one person. There will be one Alhaji, one Hausa man who suddenly has 15,000 hectares of land in Edo State, who suddenly have 15,000 hectares of land in Enugu, in Abia, in Anambra State, in Lagos State. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is madness. How far must you go to strip people off from what belongs to them? Now, the most ridiculous part of it is that we have governors in those states. Like Edo State, for example, you have a governor. We have legislators in the House of Assembly. We have speakers in the House of Assembly. And these people, they are working in cahoot with the federal government to sell out their own people because of, one, money, fear of not getting favor anymore from them, from the federal government. Number two, because of the skeleton they have in the box, and they don't want it to be revealed. They don't want the EFCC to be on their doorstep tomorrow. That's just basically what this is all about. So therefore, they are taken hostage and they are mute. They don't say anything. They are not representing their people. So you will have a legislator who was appointed, who was voted into power by his own people. Now, this person is not even representing his own people. This person is only out for his own pocket, with his own mind, with his own for himself. And this gets me pissed off. So I get pissed off and I'm worried and I'm really angry. So I try to be calm. I promised my wife today I'm not going to be very upset making this video. I'm going to stay calm. Okay, so I'm calm right now. Now, when we move forward, then I get very upset from one thing, that our own people cannot see this. Our own people, our own citizens, our own brothers and sisters cannot see this, and they're not prepared to work with each other to solve this problem. Because the citizens of a nation have a lot of power, but they don't see themselves as powerful. They see themselves as weaklings. And if you see yourself as a weakling, you will build a weakling. Other people will treat you as a weakling. Now, and that is why, so now today, because people like me protested very seriously during the last move in Edo State to come up with a grazing bill, we fought to dislodge that. So now they are coming in with a new angle, and they are calling it, basically the first thing they did was, because they see that putting the grazing bill, because what they wanted to do was to ensure that each state that set up a grazing bill is going to allocate, a huge amount of land to them. So when they saw that that was not going to happen, now they intensify the destruction of the cattle herdsmen. They intensify the evil. They intensify the killing, the massacre, the rape. You see, these people are not just killing people. These people are sending out a message. And I will repeat that. These people are not just killing people. These people are sending out a message. I'm more intelligent than just to believe that, they are killing somebody. I just kill one man there. These people are not killing people. They are sending out a message, a very clear message. It's like when the mafia, those of you who knows about the mafia, when the mafia cut somebody's throat and they bring his tongue out, they call it the necktie. That is a special message. Or the mafia kills somebody and put a coin under the tongue. It's a message. These people, the atrocity they are committing is a message. It's a message that, look, we are going to kill all of you. We are going to kill all of you. And we want to send out a message that there's nothing you can do to stop us. We are going to kill you. We're going to take over your land. We're going to take over everything. We're going to take over you because you are infidel. Now, this is what is going on. It has nothing to do with cattle herdsmen. So now, it has nothing to do with cattle rearing. So now the same government led by, you have this dude called Audu Ogbe. This guy is supposed to be from the south himself, But he is now the mouthpiece of all these guys, these Fulani herdsmen. You have all these, so all these people, they seems not to be thinking. Their brain seems not to be working, but it is working. There's a reason why they are doing what they are doing. So now these guys, they now want us to be convinced that the solution, the only solution, is to create a colony. Is to create a colony in every state of the country. Now, go and find out what a colony is. A colony is a very bad word because a colony is the prelude to colonization. A colony is a prelude to colonialism. So that's why I want to tell you a bit of history today, what happened. And why people are repeating history today, but people don't realize that. So I'm going to take you back to 1650 in Nigeria. So I printed it out so I don't make a mistake. 1850, that was when the slave trade started. The transatlantic slave trade started in 1850. The slave trade started because when the white people came to Africa, the African chiefs and kings, you can call them the politicians of those days and the traditional rulers, they didn't have a qualm about it to sell their own people to foreigners. Forget whether they were white or they were green. They could have been green people, but the black man didn't care. He sold his own flesh and blood to foreigners. That's what he did in 1850. The white people did not force these people. The white people came and they said, okay, look, they needed some people and they gave them these people. There's a lot of young people today who are totally have no clue about history and they have no bother to study and they have this concept in their head because they don't want to admit it that the white man has nothing to do with their trouble, that it was their own grandfathers that created the trouble for them. And today, their own father, they are politicians and they themselves are creating more problems for themselves. And that gets me sick too. So right now, from 1850, this went on, and the slave trade was heaviest about the 1700 to 1850. For 150 years, they were over in the highest period of time. 70,000 people were being sold alone from Lagos. Only from Lagos per year. Just imagine that. 70,000 people. In those days, so we're not talking about now when people are plenty in Lagos. Go on. If you even want to set 1 million every year, you still have enough to sell. But in those days, there were not that many people as they are today. So these were the people that were sold. And guess who was selling them? The black people. The kings, the chiefs. They were selling these black people to them. Then, at a certain moment, so what happened was that in 1807, the British government made a law because this slave trade was getting out of hand. You know, if you find something somewhere, it be people were buying. And there were a lot of uproar in Europe. Europeans fought. I mean, when we were in school, we heard of somebody called, what do you call these guys? Some of these guys that fought against the slave trade. So we have all these guys who fought, Europeans, white people who fought against the slave trade. They wanted to end. The king of Boni in Nigeria, which is now in the area of Port Harcourt and all this, Calabar in that area. Why the white people were fighting to end slave trade, he was fighting there to continue slave trade. He wrote a letter to the Queen of England saying that this trade that the ancestors have told them, that this is a trade that is ordained by God and there is nobody who can stop it. That was the defense of the black man. That was the defense of the black man, the black king. And the white people said, no, tell your God that he is a fool, that this trade must stop. It's all in the record. Go and check it out. So finally, in 1807, the trade stopped. They had to stop the trade. But a black man being who he is, he refused to stop Because even when the British stopped the trade, the British could only stop the trade for their own citizens. So British citizens were no longer allowed to buy and own slaves. Guess what? The French could do it, the Germans could do it, the Dutch could do it, so the Danish people could do it. So the slave trade actually went on, but not as heavy as it was. So the British had to come to Lagos. This is the catcher. This is the catcher for those of young people who never read history. The British then decided to come to Lagos, and in 1881, they formed what they call the Lagos Colony. See that word colony, eh? Why did they form a colony? They wanted to stay there so that they can use that opportunity to police the country because of the slave trade. So this is how slave trade, this is how colonization came. The first part, selling of black people to the white people, was 100% the result and the work of the black people. Now, because the same black people, the same chiefs, the kings, traditional rulers refused to stop the slave trade, the British has to come to Lagos and set up a colony, fully armed. That is the word colony. So this story, there is order to the madness, so just take your time. So this colony was there with a very clear purpose. Okay, they said that it is a military force to enforce the treaty that prohibiting the sales and the buying of slaves. That was why the colony was established, to prohibit. So when they came, by that time, their uncles and cousins in England were now lobbying all other European countries to stop the slave trade. So we subsequently, resulted to the official banning of slave trade by all European countries, the Dutch, the French, everybody. So during that time, the British signed an agreement with all this country prohibiting that they should come to Nigeria, where it's called Nigeria now, West Coast, to buy slaves. So when that stopped, somebody has to police it. So the British decided, okay, we are going to police it. So we now have a colony in Africa, in Lagos, to police it. That was how the colony started. And initially, there was only a protectorate. When I say a protectorate was established in 1884 called the Oyo River Protectorate. This Oyo, and there was this company called the Royal Niger Company. You see, people don't get it. People say, oh, the white people came, the government came to colonize us. They brought the church, brought the church, and then they brought the gun on the other hand. But that's not what they did. So I'm here to clear it today. And if you have alternate history that is not real, let me know, because that's not what happened. What happened was that after the banning of the slave trade, like I've said, then you had these companies that came. You have this Niger Company, this company that is called the Royal Niger Company. Can you imagine how stupid our grandfather were that a company was running Nigeria? It was not owned by the British government. A company was running Nigeria, a company. People have to realize that they were that stupid that a company is like today, that Microsoft is running Nigeria. Or like it is today, that Tesla, is running Nigeria. That was how it was. It was a company that was running Nigeria, and it was not a church. It was not a church. They didn't have Bible. It was just a company. They came. They have an idea, and they were mining. We were looking for gold. They were looking for natural resources. They were looking for everything, and they came. They employed people, and they were paying people with bag of salt. I always find it ridiculous that a black man, an African, will go and work for a bag of salt. And I think, what the hell is wrong with you? If you go to the Niger Republic today, on top of Nigeria, you can dig bale of salt out of the ground there. You stick a rock, big rock of salt. You can dig a piece of ground and then you cut big rock out. It's all salt. Because that part of Niger was once upon a time a big lake. That's why it is a desert there now. So those salt is still there. If you go to the Atlantic Ocean, we have the whole ocean is full of salt. So why couldn't they carry water out of the ocean and distill it and get salt? So I don't understand why the black man has to go and work for a bag of salt. So what the hell is wrong with him? So now British had this colony set up because this Niger Company, they were between 1886 and 1899, they were simply operating there. It's a company. So it was only in 1900 that the British government took over the what is now called the south of Nigeria, or the southern Nigeria, or southern Protectorate, as they would call it, from this Niger Company. And they simply bought it from them, and they paid them over £900,000. That is what the British government paid the company to take over the south of Nigeria, to take over Nigeria from them. So therefore, all these guys you hear later, then Lord Lugard, then all these colonial leaders, then it was then the British government was appointing them. That's why you will hear a story. So this man was the first governor of Nigeria, from England. That was after they have taken over Nigeria from the Niger Company. So, right, then in 1906, the British then merged Lagos Colony and the Southern Nigerian Protectorate into a new colony of Southern Nigeria. Okay? Now, these two territories were amalgamated. You see, those territories, because you have a Lagos Colony and then you have the Southern Protectorate, and they were amalgamated in 1906. And by 1914, then the South and the North were now amalgamated. So, when you have people who have a very funny sense of history, they will tell you that our problem started when Nigeria was amalgamated in 1914. Because that is how far their brain can get. But they don't understand history. That was not when our problem started. Our problem has started way before then. Now, the story I just told you, you will see a few things that are common, and those things are still there today. For example, you sell your people out. And guess who were these people? They were all Southern people. They were from Igbos, from Edo, especially Edo, Yorubas, and Port Harcourt, all these areas. Okay? So they sold themselves out during the slave trade to the white man. So, because people want to make money. So even during the amalgamation talk, they sold themselves out to the North. Because the northern Nigeria said, that then already. During the amalgamation, they already sold themselves out. They didn't get the best deal out of the deal because they betrayed themselves. And then, during the independence talk, they also betrayed themselves. I don't even want to go into that history. But meanwhile, during all this talk, the North were always together. There was even a war. You go and read the history. There was even a war that the British decided that the British had an army, a very strong British army, but they had a lot of houses in the army and Fulanese in the army. So when they want to go and quench a riot, people rising up from inland, they go with this strong army of the Hausas and the Fulanese. I have nothing against the Hausa and Fulanese, but that time already, they were prepared to fight. They were prepared to go and, and kill. And fight for what they believe in. Okay, but whereas we Southerners, we have people, leaders who were betraying each other. We're betraying each other. We're betraying each other. So, and then the oil came. When we discovered the oil, then the same betrayal started. As long as you give a man, a little big bread from the south, he will betray his own fellow man and give the oil well to the northern guy. So, what I'm saying is that, look, it is time we take up our responsibility. It's a time we take up our own responsibility for crying out loud. We cannot keep blaming the rest of the world. We cannot keep blaming the white people. We cannot keep blaming the Hausas. We cannot keep blaming the Fulanis. We are, for crying out loud, responsible for our own ineptitude, for our own betrayal, for our own nonchalant attitude towards our own future. So now, you look at what is going on. Me and I have been fighting these Fulani herdsmen for the past 2 years. I went to jail for it. I was shot a few times by them. My farm was destroyed by them. A lot of things have happened. And I've been fighting, I've been shouting, I've been talking. And even in the state I come from, the governor has ignored me, ignored my letters, ignored my requests, ignored everything I have done, my proposal, and just name it. Why? Am I not supposed to be a child of, a son of a Doland? Am I not supposed to, is this governor and all these people not supposed to be the leaders of my state? Why do they ignore? Why is it that nobody has paid compensation out to anything? Because they are not serving the state. They are not serving the state, nor anybody in the state. They are serving a Fulani master. Now, why could people keep quiet and watch this happen? So now, amazingly, my first video on the Fulani herdsmen is barely 8 months that I made that first video that went viral all over the world. Okay? Just 6-8 months later, and when I made that video, people wanted to kill me in Edo State. APC people from Obaseki, they wanted to kill me. They threatened my life. I had to run away. I have to run, never to come back to Nigeria again. Now, just because they said I was lying, what I said in my video were not true. But these same people, they are there now today and eyewitnesses of the atrocity that is going on in Edo State. Not only in Edo State, when I made my first video about herdsmen 8 months ago, it was not this prevalent. Basically what happened now, what is happening now, the atrocity has spread all over the world. Pick up why people are underestimating these people. Pick up a map of Nigeria, okay? You can see the cities of Nigeria. And the small villages. That is where the people live, okay? Now, you know where the Fulani herdsman lives? The Fulani herdsman lives all over the map. Because the Fulani herdsmen, they don't follow the road you follow, the expressway and the major road. That is not where they follow. They cross through the entire forest of the entire nation. That's what they are doing. The Fulani herdsman does not go through the road you go to. They go through the forest. So, can you imagine somebody going from Kano to Lagos through the forest? It's not going through the road you're going through. So, these guys are everywhere. When I made 4 videos on the series explaining the problems of the herdsmen and how dangerous this is last year. And I explained that these people, they are infiltrating every society, every part and nooks of the corner of Nigeria. They are infiltrating every society. You don't have to be a genius. Apparently, you have to be a genius to understand that. These people, they don't mean well. They are killers. And how do you know somebody is a killer and doesn't mean well? Because the person has killed before. Somebody that has killed before is a killer. And he doesn't mean well. Now, this person is raising cows from place to place. And this person and a group of them, and almost all of them, are from one tribe of Nigeria. So when you say you have Fulani herdsmen that are killing people, that is the 100% fact. It has nothing to do with divisive talk. It has nothing to do with bigotry. It has nothing to do with tribalism. No. Who are the people killing people right now? They are Fulani men. What type of profession do they say they have? They are herdsmen. So, are we going to start calling them peaceful people now? Because we don't want to upset the president or upset or want to be politically correct? So, I'm not going to do that. So, now, the government have said the best solution is to form a colony. That was why I took the pain to explain to you the history of Nigeria, what colony does to a country. A colony is a stepping stone to colonization. A colony is a stepping stone to, overruling people. Because what you do in a colony is this. This is what is going to happen in Nigeria. You picture this. And that is why I'm not excited going back to Nigeria. Because I have won, I have fought, I have gone to jail, I've gone through a lot in Nigeria. And most Nigerians have refused to see what I see. So, I better stay in a country where I'm safe. Now, this is what is going to happen in Nigeria. I'm going to make an animation of it soon. You see a whole map of Nigeria. Now, these Fulani herdsmen, they are demanding that Nigeria create from every state of the federation a colony. It is no longer a cattle ranch. You see, they are two different. There's a difference to it. A cattle ranch, you bring cattle there and you have grass. Maybe you have one small house there, people sleep, and a borehole. So, but only cattle live there to eat grass. That's what a cattle ranch is. Now, a colony, on the other hand, cattle don't even live there. I don't know if people understand what we are talking about. Cattle don't live in a colony. Humans live in a colony. So when there is a stupid politician from Abuja telling fellow Nigerians that when they create a colony that is going to solve the problem, that is the biggest BS that you can dish out to another human being. Because I know that is not going to solve anything, because that is even going to make the situation worse. A colony, cattle don't live in the colony. There can be few cattle that live in the colony, but the idea of a colony is to have a group of people with their own culture, their belief, their way of life, migrating to live inside that colony. That is what a colony is now. So what does that mean? By the time you have a whole colony of 5,000 to 10,000 hectares of land, and then you have all Fulani people living in that colony, then guess what? They have their own leader there. Their own, they have their own mosque there. They have their own Sharia law there. After some time, there are that many that they will demand a local government. They look at the Nigerian Constitution. What is the requirement to form a local government? So we've made the requirement. So we need our own local government with our own local government chairman. But because what they want is total control of the country, it's not just enough to form a local government with their own local government chairman, etc. No, they must report to their emir. I don't care where the emir is, or to their sultan, because you don't have power over them. A governor of a state, like Edo State or Imo State, has no power over the colony. The colony has their own laws because they work with Sharia laws. And these people only report to somebody in the north, who is their leader, or the sultan, the emir, or whatever the person is. So now what happened when in a Fulani herdsman inside the colony goes out of the colony to rape an Igbo woman. According to the Sharia law, it is a woman's fault. According to the Sharia law, it is the woman's fault. The man is never to be blamed in the case of rape. So, and according to even to the Nigerian Constitution, people that are subjected to the Sharia law are judged by the Sharia law. Your English law has no effect on them. So, now, very soon, that colony start to expand. Because, don't forget, the cattle were never there in the first place. The cattle are not there now. The cattle were somewhere else. All this time, despite the fact that you have given them this colony, there's no cattle there because the cattle are still roaming about. The cattle are just roaming about everywhere. Then you will say to them, didn't I give you a colony before? And you gave us a colony now, but it's not enough. It's not enough because the colony you gave us is not big enough. Then you would think not joke. You would think it's not joke. Oh. Very soon, somebody will be shouting in Abuja that, the colonies they have been given to these Fulani herdsmen is not enough. That is why we have all these problems. So therefore, states should give them more colony now. Give them bigger colony. So you start giving them bigger colony. Now, can you imagine the type of atrocity people are building up for? People are rejoicing now. People are, it is just terrible. So by the time you just try to look at it, pick up a Nigerian map, go to Google it, get a Nigerian map, use a pen to draw on every state a circle, a red pen, just draw. In every state of the federation, type on it, colony, Fulani, colony. So after you don't type them, then try to expand it every year, because that's what happened. Try to use a pen, the same red pen, expand each one. Every year, make them bigger. Keep on doing it and see after 15 to 20 years how big all those circles become. Now, that is what happened when you start to create a Fulani, a herdsman colony today. Then I said to myself, if people are that blind today that they accept it, even educated elites, educated people in the west, the east, the central, and south of Nigeria, they are too blind to see it. And for God's sake, for once in their life, let them wake up, come out, and do something. These people are busy talking and speaking big grammar. Some even are totally in the stratosphere. It's like they have been smoking weed the entire period and they have no clue what is going on. I think, what the hell is wrong with these people? I'm so furious. And my fury is not because I have something against the Fulani people. Absolutely not. But I believe in one thing. There must be justice for any country to progress. There must be justice. Law and order for any country to progress. And going to occupy and build a colony in another man's place is like coming to my living room to shit in it. Like Okonkwo said, in Things Fall Apart, what do you want me to do when somebody come into my room and shit on my floor? That is what is going on. Because I am a farmer. I just cannot wake up tomorrow and say there is no land anymore in Edo State. There is no land in Oyo State. I'm going to Katsina State, and I come there. I said to the people there, you know what? I need a colony. People should give me a colony in Katsina State, and I go to Niger State. You must give me a colony. If you don't give me a colony, I will start killing people. You don't want to give me colony? Wait, I'm going to bring my drone. You know me, I grew up in the Western world. I know how to fly a drone. I will bring my drone. I will start shooting to shoot people until you give me a colony. Why? Because I need to make a farm and I need land. That is not how it works. That is what we call terrorism. That is terrorism. Once you give in once, then it's like Bob Marley said, once you give them an inch, they will take a yard. when you give them a yard, they will take a mile. And basically, I am making this final plea because our people are sleeping. Our people are sleeping, and I believe this. I believe that if this happen, it is over. And I'm making this pledge today. Once Nigeria starts issuing all these colony out to Fulani herdsmen, Nigeria as it is gone. And then me, I'm renouncing my nationality. There's nothing to go and do there ever again. There's nothing. That. Look, this country. Donald Trump was not only right, but there is nothing that ever good going to come out of it, because the end result of a colony will be an anarchy, will be a total anarchy. I'm sure it will be a total anarchy, because one day, and not so far from today, some people will come up. They will not only have Kalashnikov, they will have M16, they will have drones, they will have a tank, and they will march to that colony and start to kill people. And then you will start getting hurt. That is not the future I want to be. That's not the future I want to be. So it has to be very clear to all Nigerians today that you have to start doing something today. This is a fight for your life. This is a fight for your life. Now, people say, but we cannot do anything now. What can we do? Of course you can do a lot. Only you are not prepared to do it. People are not prepared to do anything yet. I have said the first thing Nigerians can do today is to stop eating cow meat. All the fight, how do they finance this fight? It's through the cow business. That's how they finance this fight. That is the excuse of going to kill people. So, intelligent human beings, they look at the situation and say, okay, look, where is my power? It's a question of analyzing your strength, your weakness, and your opportunity. So what power do I have? Now, the power you have is that, guess who is buying the cow meat? It's Southern people. We are the one buying the cow meat. And it is an abomination. It's an abomination to have an Edo man from my state, who is going to buy a cow because he wants to bury his father. He wants to bury his in-law. He's having a marriage ceremony. Then this man or this person, without absolute regard for life of people who were lost, he's going to buy a cow in the market. That is the same thing, the same nonchalant attitude that his grandfather had during the slave trade. Why so many black people were bought and sold in Africa? There were people then also, there were people in Africa who did not care. Even when you showed them black man was being moved to the boat, he just didn't care. Now we have the same people today. They will see on TV, they will see on the internet that the head of another human being is cut off live by a Fulani herdsman. If people say it's not true, I can send you the video, so don't challenge me. Now, these same people will wake up the next day and then we go and buy cow in the cattle market. For what? The least you can do, you see, I'm a black man. I'm a black human being from bottom to down. My respect for the black man is going down every day. My respect, even as a black man, the respect I have for fellow black men is going down and down and down every day. Because if Europeans, you don't need to preach to Europeans to stop eating meat. Even when that was the only thing left on earth to eat, you don't need to preach to Europeans to stop eating meat. I still remember when during the war in not Vietnam, the Gulf War, the second Gulf War, the French refused to go. They said, we're not going to go. We're not going to follow these people to go and fight. The Americans were so furious. They said they were not going to buy anything French anymore. No French wine. No French this. And then you have all these hillbillies from Montana and Texas, and those cowboys from Texas, with all due respect, who didn't know it a lot. They said they were going to stop eating French fries. We're not going to eat French fries anymore. So these guys, because they don't know that French fries is not from France, so they stopped eating French fries until somebody started shouting on them on TV that, hey, guys, look, you got to go and start eating French fries because it's not from France. They just call it French fries, but it's not from France. Please start eating. You are collapsing the potato business in America. But, we'll make fun out of it right now, but it shows the patriotism these people had. It shows, we want to go to war. You don't want to join us? You don't want to join us? Okay, we'll stop eating French fries. Okay, we'll stop drinking your wine. That's because these people didn't want to go to war with them. Now, imagine if the French were killing Americans. The French were killing Americans. It won't stop by eating French fries. So, but the black man, you will kill him, you will cut his throat, take the tongue out, cut his head, turn it upside down, use it to play football, and the next day, his brother will still go to the market and buy the meat. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, do you know that if the Fulani herdsmen start killing human beings today and using this human being to literally feed their goat, their cow in the bush, literally, these cows will still come to states like Edo State, Lagos State, and Imo State, and people will still buy these cows from them. And I ask myself, look, honestly, what type of human being are these? So me, I'm ashamed. So, I know Donald Trump is a racist, but the man got a point. The man got a point. This is not how people behave. This is primitive, man. So we really got to wake up. So my appeal to Nigerians today is that to prove that you are a human being, that you are not an animal, you got to stop eating cow meat. There is goat meat. First of all, you don't have to eat meat. I know a lot of people who don't eat meat. Even me, I don't eat that much meat. I'm not a meat eater. But so you don't need to live on meat. You have, even when you like meat well, you like suya. They get goat suya now, pepper soup. Don't be goat until they make pig a day. We Africans, in Europe and America, we eat a lot of pig. What did you want? Bush meat is a day. Snake day. And then we can't get chicken. You can make chicken pepper soup, chicken suya, chicken everything. In fact, you can eat chicken. I've eaten chicken for years without eating any other meat. So why can't our people say, look, we are going to start eating chicken from now on. The Fulani guy, you keep your cow. Keep your cow. How come our people don't have the balls enough to say, look, we are going to eat only chicken and goat? Because two things will happen. One, you will strangle this Fulani business, this cow business, you will strangle it. If they want to start shooting people because they don't eat cow meat, make with the siam. So why can't we do that? Why can't people go and do that right now? Why? Okay. Then secondly, you will be helping your own southern, eastern, western, and central Nigerian people to grow their business, their goat business, their chicken business, everything. But you know what? This lack of love for each other in this part of Nigeria, this lack of love is the one that is going to ruin the entire southern, eastern, western, and central part of Nigeria. And I've told people before, I said, look, Nigeria is going to be extinct when it goes on like this. It's going to be extinct because the way people behave, there is no normal set of people that can behave like this and live for a very long time. It's not possible. It's statistically not possible. Mentally, everything, the way you look at it is not possible because something got to give. And Nigeria is getting to a state that something's going to give. And the South is going to be a playground of violence soon. Because we have a president. You know, I believe personally that the president is in charge of all this operation. You know, it's not, I don't have a doubt about it at all. The president is aware and he knows and he's directing this. Because all these guys, they work in cells. They work in cells. You know, I've done my research. They work in cells. And there is a cell of people out there, what they're just doing is just recruiting herdsmen. There's another cell out there. They are they are our security, head of our securities. They are the commissioner of police in every state who are Fulanis. We have head of securities. We have, head of military, the head of navy, head of this, that. They all know what is going on. And even when you have no, and the reason why they all have to be from one tribe is that it is easy to convince somebody that this is what we are doing now. Don't talk. If you have a Yoruba man there, you cannot, it is very difficult to convince a Yoruba man that you are coming to ruin his people, or you are coming to set up colony in his town. But this is your intention with the colony later. You know, maybe he will have some conscience. Certainly an Igbo man will say, now, now you can't come to my place and do that now. You know, so all this, they don't want this type of argument. They don't want this type of talk. So that's why security agencies have to be concentrated with the Fulanis, with one tribe, not even Hausas, because a lot of people, they don't understand it. You see, the Hausas, all the other Hausas people, their life is also at stake. I've seen these skirmishes in the bush. I was surprised myself because initially, about a few years ago, I didn't know there were differences between a Fulani man, that strong difference between a Fulani man and a Hausa man. I mean, I know they were different. I mean, other people will tell you, yeah, but we always know. No, you don't know. You don't know that such a strong difference exists. A Fulani herdsman and Hausa herdsman, they don't come along, They don't come along in the bush. They repair each other. Because you won't believe it. It's just about a few weeks ago, we had some Hausa herdsmen inside our farm. The good guys. The Hausa herdsmen, they come into the farm, our farm, to stay there at night with their cows because they won't destroy your crop. They won't eat your crop. We fetch water for them. They will drink your water. They will stay there. Why? Because to repair. Because the Fulani herdsmen who are the killers, they are on the other side. But when they see the Hausa people on this side, they know that some of the Hausa boys are armed too. They don't have Kalashnikov, but they will have something. They won't come. So this is a part of the security we're using to protect our farm. To have the Hausa herdsmen inside our farm. Think about that for a moment. So these Hausa guys, we have one-on-one with them. Even when I'm not in Nigeria, telephone they talk with Hausa man for farm. So what did happen? They would gist you. These Fulani guys, they are killer at all standards. So the Hausa guys are afraid of the Fulani guys. The thing about is bad news in Nigeria. Honestly, guys, this is bad news in Nigeria. In my farm right now, the Fulani guys, in the daytime, when they don't shoot at you, they will carry their Kalashnikov offline, wave it like this. I mean, I'm sorry, I gotta laugh. They will carry their Kalashnikov off and wave it at you, just for you to know that, look, we are here with our gun, so don't try to mess up. We're here with our gun. But that is your own state. You grew up. I mean, this thing is ridiculous. So you have this government, who say, oh, we want to promote agriculture in Nigeria. Agriculture is their number one thing, this government. But since they came to power, agriculture has died. Agriculture don't die well. Why? Because the Fulani herdsmen would not allow people to farm. And it's not, look, it is not because they have no food to eat. It's not because the cows have no food to eat. I tell you, where we have a farm today, that is where Governor Obaseki has, in Edo State, he wants to build industrial park in that area. Industrial park. People should go and ask Governor Obaseki what is happening to that industrial park. That industrial park today, there's at least 50 Fulani herdsmen inside that place with AK-47 in Edo State. If you say a lie, go there at night and you will see how many gunshots you will be hearing from Fulani herdsmen inside that place where the governor says he's having industrial park. Now, that industrial park area, who in his right mind, from where in the world, want to carry his expatriate there to go and start setting up a company when there are more than 50 Fulani herdsmen with AK-47 in that bush? What things happen now? Why? The person can go to Ghana, nobody will shoot at him. The person can go to Tanzania, nobody will shoot at him. The person can go to Angola, nobody will shoot at him. The person can go to Mozambique, nobody will shoot at him. Botswana, nobody will shoot at him. Then he will wake up, he will say, look, you know where I want to go to? I want to go to Benin City, Edo State, where there are 50 Fulani herdsmen who are prepared to kill me and kidnap my people at any time. Now, thank you, Mr. Governor. That's not how investors work. So now, these Fulani herdsmen, I think most people have seen, in that there is one side of that road. It was protected because they said their cow wander. Because these people, they'll give all the excuse in the world. They say their cow, they wander in the night, enter farm. So okay. So the Owena River Development, they said, okay, you know what? We're going to dig a moat on our side. There's a 3 meter, I'm going to put the picture on the side. There are 3 meter moat. A 3 meter deep, you can put a whole car inside. The car can drive through the moat, inside the moat. A big SUV, you can drop it inside. So there's 3 meters deep. And then the sand that was brought out of the moat is another 2.5 meters. So if you fall inside the moat, you can't come out on your own. Somebody must give you a ladder. And the moat is 2.5 meters wide. That is the hole that was a trench that was dug by the Owena, kilometers over, about 10 kilometer trench, so that the cows can walk on one side. The cow mona stay this side. This side, now Benin farmer stay this side. That was what Owena River Basin Development did. Guess what the Fulanis did next? This is a good story. In the night, the Fulani came with 50 men with AK-47, and they carry shovel, they carry hoe, and they started filling. They went to start digging sand that was excavated to fill the hole and bridge it. So they spend the whole night filling it. After they fill the whole place, they fill about 10 meters. They created a gap. And then they allowed their cow inside that place. Go and go chop, go destroy farm, go destroy farm. The governor is aware of it. The governor of Edo State is aware of it. The commissioner of police is aware of it. The deputy governor is aware of it. The speaker is aware of it. The vice president is aware of it. Because the vice president was in that place to open that industrial park now. Everybody's aware of it. So now try to imagine you are a governor of a state and you want to have industrial park, and then the industrial park has been turned to a den of cattle herdsmen waving Kalashnikov, and you are not doing anything about it. So what type of country is that? So people have sold their soul, and people say, look, how come this man knows that much about this cattle herdsman business? Yeah, I've been an antagonist. Me and the fight for the past 3 years. It's now that the fight is affecting every other person. So, the fight has taken over 4 years. Me, I refuse to quit. So, the politicians have sold their soul. It's not just because of party, affiliation anymore. They have sold their soul because they are corrupt bastards. And they know that if they say something, the FCC will be on their neck the next day. There's a skeleton of them in there somewhere, and they don't dare say something. So they have sold their soul. So now, just like the kings in those days, the Obas, all the traditional rulers during the slave trade sold their soul to the white people. So they could not protest later, and they ended up selling all their citizens, the strongest part of their citizens. In fact, the Benin Empire collapsed because of the slave trade. Because they depended only on the income that was coming out of the slave trade. After some time, these people, the elites who were from Benin City, there's Edo State now, they just refused to work. Why you want to go work now? We'll just sell some slaves and money will come. We will share it. So when the white man come, they will tell the man, come and settle the Oba, come and settle the Onoji. So it was just a settled culture. So does that sound familiar? The culture is still like that today. People know they work, just want to share money. So that was what happened during the slave trade. That was how, when the slave trade business stopped, the British blocked the sea. You can't sell somebody anymore. And then business stopped. There was no money to share. And then the British came to invade Benin with some, guess who, Fulani Hausa people. And then there was no, and unfortunately, the Benin Kingdom have sold most of their strong labor force. There were no strong men to defend the city. What a tragedy. There were no strong men left to defend the city. That's what the history book said. So this was how the people destroyed themselves. So the poor Benin Kingdom you see today is as a result of people who sold themselves out during the slave trade. Slave trade is not that long ago, talking about 17 something, 18 something. Okay? We are in 2017, 18 now. So, it looks very long, but actually it's not. So today, we have governors from all these states. They have sold out. We have traditional rulers from these states. They have sold out. So they are now, like the slave masters then, they are the one pressurizing the citizens today to give colonies to the Fulanis. Give them colony now. They are the one. The Fulanis are not even coming to every state to demand for these colonies. It is our governors that are doing it. Apart from Governor Fayose, all these governors All these governors, they are now the spokesmen of the Fulani herdsmen. They are now building the case to their citizens why the Fulanis must get colonies in their state. But you have elites in those states as well. They are not asking reasonable questions. What is the reasonable questions? Number one, what happened when we don't want to have these colonies anymore? Number one. Number two, what is the maximum space these people can have? Number three, if we want to have a colony, it shouldn't be a colony. If you want to have a grazing area, they must graze there only. Not be said tomorrow, come they sell the land, till they build house. Because then you really have a colony. And how are you going to enforce that? Nigeria, you don't enforce anything. There's no building, there's no enforcement of building laws and regulations. So if you give people a colony, a land today, say that only cattle rearing you do there, tomorrow you cannot stop him from building a mosque, you cannot stop him from building a Sharia school, you cannot stop him from building a market. It just go on, and then before you know it, you have a city, you have a local government. So now, what law are they going to follow in that camp, in that colony? In a normal society where the interest of everybody is taken care of, there's a series of questions that must be asked by the local authority, governor, House of Assembly, before we can even think of giving the federal government the possibility of creating these colonies. Some people will listen, they say, yeah, the only solution in Nigeria is, what do you call that one? They want to cut Nigeria into 3 parts or 4 parts and whatever. It's through federalism. This blah, blah, blah. This blah, blah, blah. I say, guys, listen. Let's assume that Nigeria is divided into 3. You have the east, the south, or west, or whatever you want to have it. And you have a governor who betrays you. Or you have a leader in your own spot that still betrays you. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Because like right now, the way it works in Nigeria is this. The federal government has no right to come and pick up a communal land from Edo State. Federal government cannot do this, except the state government give the land to the federal government. The land belongs to the state. The state can do anything they want with their land. That's the law. Now, the state now, because somebody has bribed them, somebody has collected to blackmail them, whatever reason it is, the state now are the one fighting their own citizens. The state governors are the one fighting their own citizens that they want to give this land to the federal government. Okay? So on one hand, when it's time to do something good for their citizens, they will say, the law don't allow us to do this. It is because of this, there is no true federalism in Nigeria. That is why we cannot do this. But on the other hand, when you have a very clear law that says, look, your land belongs to you, the federal government has no right to take your land, then suddenly the state want to change their own law so that the federal government can take the land. Who are you fooling? I mean, okay, a lot of Nigerians don't think. But to really honestly, for people to have the idea that, look, the problem of Nigeria is because of the lack of true federalism. I mean, this is honestly nonsense. It could help to improve the standard of living in Nigeria as we move ahead. But today, that's not the main problem. The main problem is that we have a bunch of self-serving fools who have no regard for history, their fellow humans, and respect for themselves. That is the major reason what is creating all these problems. And pardon me if I'm not using the most polite words today. That's because I'm really pissed off at these people. That is what is the problem is today. Because in Nigeria, even when you make a law tomorrow that all the properties in the state belongs to the state, even the water, everything belongs to the state, there is going to be a governor who comes tomorrow who will still want to circumvent that law to give those things away to somebody else. That's just the mentality of the black man. Look, when God created the earth, the black men were living in Nigeria. He gave them the land. It didn't belong to the English people. The land did not belong to the English people. But what happened? The British people came and they took the whole land. Why? Because some people sold the land to them. So people gave them the land for some bags of salt. What was the reason then? Because there was no true federalism. The world was not created, divided equally. No, it's still the same problem, it's the greed. So now the politicians can piss me off, the pastors can piss me off, everyone can piss me off, but what pisses me, what really gets me frustrated is the fact that our own people cannot wake up and they are in a slumber until they get into the boat and get to Haiti, then they wake up in a plantation. Then it's too late. You're supposed to have woken up in Lagos, in Calabar. Don't wait until you get into the boat and get to Haiti. That's too late. So we have to start waking up, man. People just got to start waking up. Because the problems we have in Africa today is because people are sleeping. People are not conscious. People will say, what are we going to do? What do you mean what we're going to do? Do you mean now that if your life depends on it, that we cannot come up with a solution what we're going to do today with the herdsmen in the next 24 hours? Of course we can come out. I can come out with solutions. The first solution is we got to start eating cow meat. Why? Because we want to wreck the market. That is how they function. Because of the market. It's like the blood diamond. When the blood diamond was flooding the world and the fight in Liberia was going stronger and stronger in Sierra Leone, and the European and the Americans discovered that, look, it is this diamond that is fueling these conflicts. So therefore, we need to curb it. That was how you have that, label, blood diamond. So all diamonds in the world are tracked today to ensure there is no blood diamond. Go and Google it. And that's how the term comes from. So why the white man is always trying to protect people, protect black people, but the black people will always come up with another tactic to destroy himself. So do we now wait until the white man comes and say, look, this is how we are going to stop the herdsmen crisis. And then everybody will start going to Addis Ababa to go and make a meeting with the British there, with Americans there. People will start going to New York to go and have a meeting about it. So guess what? When you get to New York, then you will see people, most of the time they are young people, 25, 30 years old. They would be telling you what to do. They will redraw the map for you. And they will make new laws, which everybody, is a treaty now, a peace treaty. They will make new peace treaty for you. Everybody must obey that peace treaty. Then everybody will come and face the camera and shake hands. Say, we have reached an agreement. All these idiots, black men, we have reached an agreement. So the people, the white people will say, okay, look, to enforce the agreement, make una the go house, we will send United Nations Peace Corps. Follow now. Everybody will be happy. So guess what? When the United Nations Peace Corps is coming, they bring everybody along. They bring a crook, they bring scientists, they bring engineers, They bring anything they can lay hands on. They bring all these people. CIA, KGB, everybody follow the call. So, and then you've sold your right to them. It's a serious problem. And and black people keep repeating this same thing over and over again. And they say, oh yeah, it's white people, they are creating problem for us. Come on, since when do white people create problem for you? You're creating the problem yourself. You're creating a problem yourself, because if you don't do this, if black people are not doing these idiotic things, they don't give the white people chance to maneuver into their culture. Strongly, honestly, that's why I told the history of the slave trade. The British government did not come to Africa to buy slaves. It was not the British government that did it. There were some British people who had a company, like Chinese company are doing today, who say we're going to do business in Africa. So we come to Africa and say, hey, there are people to buy. These people sell each other out. Maybe they can sell some to us. Okay, I want black people. The black man say, no problem. I can give you 20. Only 20. How much should I pay? Or give me a mirror. Give me 3 bags of salt. Only salt? Bring another 40. So the white man got home, told the people, say, look, we got some black animals that look like human beings. We'll go and buy more, and they can do work in the farm. That was how black slave trade started, dude. So, and then the black man was happy because I can sell that man. He's from Calabar. Don't mind him. But we sell him. So after we don't sell him finish, we go to, Anambra. We got some people there also. Maybe we sell them. Don't mind them. That was how it was, because there was no respect for each other. There was no regard for each other. And what is going on today is that there is still no regard for each other. There's still no respect for each other. So anytime you are confused, you don't have respect for each other, regard for each other, guess what? It is like Jesus Christ said, a house that is built on the sand, it will collapse. The water will just go on. And another saying the Bible said is that a house that is divided cannot stand. I mean, how are you going to stand? Black people are divided, especially the southern, eastern, western, central part of Nigeria. They are all divided segments, and that is why no progress is being done. The Hausa people, the northern Fulanis, we always reign over the rest until they take over the entire nation called Nigeria. Until Nigeria becomes an Islamic state. They will not stop until you stop them. And the best way to stop them today, it is a good start. We need to stop eating the cow meat. If you are not in Nigeria, you are in the Western world, pick up a phone, call your family, tell them my story, convince them that they must stop eating meat, cow meat. They don't want to listen, blackmail them, tell them I will stop sending you money from dollar. Do whatever you need to do to stop people from eating cow meat. We must crash the market. We must crash the market. When the market, we're not going to stop. I see some people passing folders around online and say, stop eating cow meat from the 29th this month to February 9. Say what? Stop eating meat for a week or two? No. We want to stop eating cow meat indefinitely until there is a fruitful negotiated result. We want to see a nation where there is equal right and justice for all, because where your right stops is where my right starts. We cannot mix it up. Where your right stop is where mine starts. You cannot infringe into my right. When you infringe into it, then I will knock you on the head, or the authority will knock you on the head. But when the authority don't knock you on the head, then it becomes what we call injustice. And that's what is happening today. You will see a full animal comes to your farm and they will destroy 10 hectares, 20 hectares. Do you know how much a hectare is? A hectare of cassava is bringing over 700,000 naira. A good hectare of cassava, not the fake one. So imagine somebody destroying 10 hectares of cassava of another man. So that is 7 million. So you will just go into a farm and then you will destroy 7 million naira worth of cassava of another man. And nothing will be done to that man. Nothing. That is injustice. That is injustice. That means that for me to ever get my justice, I will have to infringe on the right of somebody else. And I have been on the edge of doing that so many times. I've been on the edge of doing that. And I know I have contained myself. One day, there will be new breed of people who comes out and they won't contain themselves. One final message I want to give so people can say, it's a threat, you are threatening us. To our Nigerian politicians who think, because what is going on is definitely going to result into a catastrophe in Nigeria. There's going to be a tribal war. There's no way out of it if people don't start behaving like normal human beings. There's going to be a tribal war. What is going to happen is that these politicians will run away. They will carry their things, say, we'll go to England, we'll go to America, I'm making my own personal promise today. If these people crash Nigeria, and Nigeria ever come to that state that people will have to start running away, say they go London, one go sit down there, we will be here waiting for them. I will personally organize a worldwide campaign to fish out these people, make sure that they have a miserable life. Not only them, but their children, the entire family. We will make sure that they have a miserable life, that they cannot enjoy the money they stole and bring it here to enjoy it. I am giving you my word. As long as I live, if these politicians cannot put their act together, forget their political affiliation, their social and whatever, cultural affiliation, to solve the problem of this country in such a way that the people will have justice and rights. If the country breaks down into chaos, I will personally organize the world. I won't organize black people. Because I have tried to organize black people. They work. Like they say in Nigeria. They work in Nigeria, they do. Me, I will organize white people. I will organize white people. And we will hunt them down. Make sure that they cannot enjoy the fruit of their loot in Nigeria. You have to provide the life, rights to ordinary Nigerians to ensure that they have life. If you don't, you want to run out of Nigeria, the day is over where people will ruin Nigeria, and when trouble starts, everybody start running. Where you want to run to? Where you want to run to? With your mobile phone, we can track you. With Google, we know where you live. You're not running anywhere. You're not running anywhere. So we are no longer in that world. Please spread the message. We need to make sure that these politicians cannot keep running everywhere. You run, we'll track you down. We'll make you face the justice, legal justice in the Western world. For those who think they can orchestrate the killing of innocent people, we will bring you to Den Haag. You go and join, what do you call this guy? Taylor. This Taylor guy is there now, from Liberia. You have the other guy from Ivory Coast. He's there now. Some of these guys are calling off that. Maybe they can go to Zimbabwe and South Africa. That's fine. But don't come to Europe, man. Don't come to America. Make your life miserable. Go to South Africa. Go and stay in the dark there. So guys, this is it. This is it. At a point in man's life, you got to tell yourself the truth. Okay, you got to tell yourself the truth. As old as I am, I supposed not to be fighting this battle. This battle is for a younger person. This battle is for people 30 years or 35 years old. But I live in a country where you have 30 and 35 years old, or I come from a country where you have 30 and 35 years old, 40 years old, who are unwilling to fight, who are unwilling to wake up, who are sleeping. That's why you will have a man like me, as old as I am, coming to fight. We supposed not to be fighting. It's an embarrassment when you see people of my age this started coming up to start fighting. We're a country where you have 30 years old, 25 years old, 35 years old. And these people say, oh, people are not giving us the chance to rule. You got to earn it. Leadership, you got to pick it up. You got to drag it from people. Rulership, you have to drag. Alexander the Great, was 25 years old when he was Alexander the Great. He did not become 40 years old. The dude he was 30 years old when he died. So these guys, all the great men you see on earth that you heard of, they were great in their 30s. They did not become 60 before they got great. Napoleon, some of the Tsar of Russia, John Kennedy and all these guys, they were great in their 30s. Me, I've been great since my 30s. I've been shouting since my 30s. I've been fighting injustice when I was 9 years old. So it is not an excuse. So you have people who are poor, who are wretched, and they just stay there and say, and they are waiting for the government to come one day, and Babangida will shake your hand, or Buhari will come and shake your hand and say, I'm giving you the key to the Aso Rock. That's not going to happen. You got to take it. You got to take it. Because Buhari went there when he was in 42 and took power. Idi Agbon was 38 years old, 36 years old. They went to take power. Azikiwe, all these guys, they were in their 20s, in their 30s. So, and now we have people who are 35, 40 years old, and they are complaining, telling me, oh, they don't want the youth of today to rule. They don't want the youth. The youths are lousy. That is why nobody wants them to rule. You don't complain. People who want to rule don't complain. They go there and they take power. What do you think? Buhari go and plan a coup. He planned a coup. Babangida planned a coup. He's a master coup plotter. He was planning coup every 6 months. What do you think? It's death sentence in Nigeria if you plan a coup. But they did. So now they put their life on the line to plan a coup. They were some of their friends. That the former minister of FCT, who planned a coup, at least they say he planned a coup, and he couldn't carry it out. They cut him. You remember the guy called the Oka coup? He planned a coup. Didn't work. So these people risked their life to plan a coup. Some made it, some it didn't work. And now you have a bunch of young people, and they are complaining that nobody wants to hand over power to them. Nobody hand over power to Babangida. Nobody hand over power to Abacha. Nobody handed power to Buhari the first time. In a normal country, Buhari is supposed to be dead. Even till today, you still go back and carry him. Say, come. The coup you plotted that time, it was a crime then now. So why is it that if you plan a coup, it only become a crime when you don't make it? When you make it, then you are the new president. That's a different story. But which means that our young people, instead of being only Agbero, that's why I find our people crazy. If it was now, say, like those days, somebody is going to build a house there, then suddenly the whole neighborhood will go there, go and carry their shovel, carry their cutlass, say you cannot build a house here today. Suddenly they are powerful. But is it not the same? Where are these boys? When the Fulani herdsmen are raping their mother, raping their wife, raping their sister, where are these idiots, not stupid and irrelevant boys? Where are they? Is it not that same country they are? Okay, so then I think now there are women carrying cow meat to the market. Where are these boys? Suddenly nobody can say, hey, you know what? We'll chop cow meat again. Cow meat don't finish. You can't bring it to this market today, concert. Go buy goat, come. Go buy chicken meat, come. No cow meat here today. Suddenly, it's nothing. 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 So, and then people said to me, hey, Aarons, please don't stop talking. Stop talking. Yeah, I can understand, but at a certain moment, you got to make your final plea. And you got to make your final plea because you cannot keep talking for nothing. Because I believe in action. Everything I do, there has to be a corresponding action at the end. So, what is the point of talking, and nothing happens? The least people can do for me is to stop eating cow meat. People just got to stop that. So people got to go online, spread out banners, make their own banners, make their own anything you can make at all to educate people, tell people they must stop eating cow meat. If you need to blackmail people, do it. No matter what it takes, people must stop eating cow meat. That is the number one protest. That protest will crumble. It's a sanction. It is a sanction. We have big men, the so-called big men in Nigeria. They're just big for nothing. So you go to a hotel today, you still bring suya. Say you can't chop suya, drink beer, take wash and down. And then you cannot even sleep in the night in your house peacefully because you're afraid of the herdsmen. They might be raping your child coming home from school. I mean, what type of uncivilized type of human beings do we have in that place? So there just got to be a redefined, a refine of the brain. People need to start waking up. The slumber must stop, and then we must give rise to heroes. If Africa is not able to do that, then I don't see any future. You can forget it. You can as well just, like somebody, once told me, let them build a wall around it. Leave them inside. Because the step that people need to take from where they are now to a better life is not difficult. It can be achieved in 3 months. The first thing people need to do is start taking action. We're not going to eat meat. It's a very clear, decisive action. It won't affect your health. Most people don't have money to buy meat anyway. They eat meat once in 3 weeks, once in a month. Just don't eat it. Go to the butcher. Tell the woman, give me rice. Look, mama. Give me rice, no meat. Put fish inside. Put catfish. Put chicken. You see, that is where our people don't have integrity. Because if I should make the announcement now, say, look, for every day you don't eat meat, you will get 1,000 naira. I will be bankrupt in 24 hours. So, how come people don't have that dignity? That idea that, look, I got to do this for me, for my people, for my children. And everything always happens. It's only money that triggered the black man's mind. Why? It's okay. If you go online, any day you don't eat meat, just go type on there, say, I didn't eat meat today. And every day you will get 1,000 naira. The website will just be overwhelmed in 24 hours. But why? Why is it that when money is involved, then people go and rush? But when somebody said to you, look, this is for your future, this is for the future, this is your future, this is the future of your children, so you need to do this. And then everybody will just go back. Everybody will just fold their hands and walk away. So for me, it is something that I have to learn. I have to learn to say at a certain moment, you know what, I love you, but a man is an architect of his own life. So I got to let you go. Got to let you go. Cannot be shouting every day in front of the camera. Hey, and people in the neighborhood start thinking, this man is crazy. No, you cannot be doing that, man. Got to calm down. Take a deep breath and say, look, Africans, if you don't want to move, you stay where you are. The Chinese are coming. The Chinese are coming, and like the English came, they will form a company. The Niger Company, don't forget that was how colonization started. The Niger Company started ruling Nigeria. It was a Niger Company that ruled the south and ruled the north and sold it to the crown. So today, you have new Niger companies that are coming from China. And our people are welcoming them and take picture with them and say, okay, nice to see you. So all these new Niger companies, they are coming. They are coming. And it's the same thing. Different people, these guys are a bit shorter and they have this kind of eye. But it's the same set of people, the same thing. But our people are not seeing that. Our people don't see it. The Obas welcome all these Niger companies then, give them slaves. The governors are welcoming the new Niger companies and giving, bribing them, and they accept deals. The Fulanis are coming. So the only alternative the southern part of Nigeria has, the east, the central, and the west, is to wake up, stand up, and say enough is enough. We want to take over our future. You don't need to go and fight with Kalashnikov to do that. You got to use the head. Nobody's going to shoot you for not eating cow meat. You just refuse. That's all it takes. So, people will say, yeah, but I live in New York. That's true. You can eat meat in New York, man. But call your people in Nigeria. Educate them. Spend the whole day with them on the phone. Tell them they must stop. Tell them that this dude Aram said, this is it. They got to fight. They got to stop. Let them crash the market. The governors will wake up. The herdsmen, the leaders of the herdsmen who are sponsoring the herdsmen, they will stop. They will call some herdsmen to order. This agenda will slow down because the agenda is speeding up very fast. It is speeding up very fast. Even me, I didn't think to speed up this far when I started this fight almost a year ago. But it's really speeding up. You got to stop it. Thank you very much for listening. Please spread the message. See you next time.